consenta a due excelente.
Eccoci Franco, buongiorno.
Buongiorno a tutti.
Attendiamo ancora un secondo se c'è qualcun altro che si connette, che sto vedendo delle persone che si stanno connettendo e sono in lista d'attesa. Eccoci. Perfetto.
Allora, a me probabilmente, se mi lasci Giovanni, dare il benvenuto. Stai registrando peraltro?
Sto registrando, sì.
Quindi lo sanno tutti che siamo registrati, perché la numerosità dei partecipanti, ho visto, è inferiore a quelli che mi hanno chiesto di seguire questa iniziativa, che però collide con le loro agende. Allora, io conosco molti di voi, conosco i relatori, che ringrazio naturalmente di questa opportunità, e mi presento: Franco Scolari, sono il direttore del Polo Tecnologico Alto Adriatico, che è anche il gestore del cluster della vita, attraverso Giovanni Del Bene, organizzatore di questa chiacchierata. Io lo chiamo una chiacchierata perché, confessando la mia ignoranza, non sapevo, diciamo un mesetto fa, che diavolo fossero le Digital Therapeutics. Dopodiché ho incontrato Opinno, un italiano che ha studiato, è stato un po' a Boston, tutto pomposamente racconta che c'è dietro l'MIT, e mi ha spiegato qualcosa. Ero così contento di aver capito questo qualcosa che, in occasione di un altro evento a Mannheim, ho incontrato Alain. Ciao Alain, che ringrazio della partecipazione, dicendo: ma sapete cosa sono le Digital Therapeutics? Come no, mi ha detto lui. Assolutamente, e anzi ti racconterò che cosa facciamo noi. Allora, anche approfittando di un'attività che è legata a un obiettivo dettato dal nostro governatore Fedriga, e precisamente fare del Friuli Venezia Giulia un territorio di innovazione assolutamente palpabile in termini di salute. Dopo il termine salute più vasto di quello della sanità, e con questo obiettivo il governatore Fedriga ha firmato un accordo con Novartis, forse c'è qualche partecipante di Novartis in linea, ed ecco qui che abbiamo cominciato a unire i puntini. Solo un'apertura. Digital Therapeutics, e cioè terapie evidence-based, cioè non cialtronate o fattucchierate che coi tarocchi prevedono il futuro delle persone. Nulla di tutto ciò, ma servizi digitali che risolvono condizioni cliniche, croniche, congiunturali legate al sistema nervoso, al sistema non direttamente tangibile. Non mi risulta che le Digital Therapeutics curino le fratture, però magari c'è qualche cosa che si può fare per ridurre il dolore, che è una percezione nervosa di una frattura. Certamente ci parleranno i nostri relatori di esperienze nel campo della cura dell'ansia, nel campo della cura di eventuali crisi per soggetti fragili perché autistici, e mi piacerà seguire questa attività, perché con questo aperitivo, questa anticipazione su una frontiera che negli Stati Uniti è più diffusa, che in Francia e Germania ha già regolamentazione, e cioè alcune prestazioni di Digital Therapeutics sono pagate dal Servizio Sanitario Nazionale. E se il Servizio Sanitario Nazionale tedesco e francese paga queste prestazioni, il concetto di evidence-based è bello che è garantito, perché con i soldi pubblici pagare una terapia si fa soltanto se è garantito. In Italia queste cose non mi risulta che siano sufficientemente diffuse, sufficientemente analizzate. Mi taccio e naturalmente vi seguo con attenzione. Ritorno la parola a Giovanni e poi magari tiriamo qualche conclusione. Grazie Giovanni, a te.
Grazie Franco, do di nuovo il buongiorno a tutti. Io mi presento per chi non mi ha sentito prima, sono Giovanni Del Ben, sono assistente progetti del cluster Scienze della Vita. Franco ha fatto una ottima introduzione alle Digital Therapeutics e adesso diamo la parola al primo speaker internazionale, sono entrambi due speaker internazionali, è il Global Head di Opinno Healthcare ed si chiama Xavi Contijo, spero di averlo pronunciato correttamente. Xavi?
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello. Okay.
Really well pronounced.
Okay, thank you very much. So, please, you can start with your presentation.
Sure. So, first of all, thanks a lot for having me today. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, perfectly.
Great.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot for having me today and for organizing this great event. I will be talking about an initial introduction to digital therapeutics, which basically, as Franco was saying, is an evidence-based intervention using digital tools and channels. Okay. And first of all, I would like to explain what is what in this area, because the terms are quite blue-red. So we can talk about digital health, digital medicine, and digital therapeutics. And basically, the main difference is the degree of intervention of these digital tools on the patient treatment. Okay. When we talk about digital health, we talk about connecting HCPs with patients. We're talking about lifestyle monitoring. We're talking about telemedicine and wellness in general. Then, if we go a little bit deeper on the intervention, we face with digital medicine, which are tools for digital diagnosis, for treatment delivery devices, for remote monitoring, and making this data available to HCPs to treat a particular patient or diagnose this patient. And then we talk about digital therapeutics, which has the higher degree of intervention and obviously the higher degree of regulation. Okay, so basically a digital therapeutic tool is a software and or hardware device which provides clinical intervention on a patient, and this intervention is based on clinical evidences which came out from standard clinical trial. Okay, and just to explain what is what, let's see an example of digital health solution. For instance, this company Newman is a company based in UK, which basically is envisaged for addressing erectile dysfunction, and this platform allows to connect a patient with an HCP to have a digital visit, and then in the same visit, the doctor can issue a medicine, can prescribe a medicine, and this medicine is delivered at home to the patient. This in UK, this is perfectly legal. So this is an example of, let's say, a digital health platform. So we're talking about communication, we're talking about drug delivery, etc. Then digital medicine, an example could be Messi Simplifying Diagnostics, which is a platform which is sent back at user home and is a tablet device equipped with different sensor, with different peripherals, which are actually medical devices, and that can track different vital signs. For instance, blood pressure, spirometry, oximetry, and this data is gathered, processed, and delivered to an HCP. And this HCP, this doctor, can diagnose certain pathology remotely from a patient home. Okay, so this device is treated as a digital medicine. Okay, because it's a set of medical devices and a software which gather this data, treat this data, and delivers to a patient. And this patient take action either from a diagnosis point of view or from a treatment point of view to target the patient. And then the last example, and the first one we'll see today addressing digital therapeutics. In this case, we talk about Sleepio. Sleepio is a platform which is basically intended for treating patients with insomnia. And this platform connects different wearable devices. They are integrated with Fitbit, with this bracelet device, and also with other devices monitoring sleep quality. And they use this data together with interviews and questionnaires that they make directly to a patient to assess the symptoms they are having related to insomnia. And using all this data, they propose personalized plans to treat insomnia. Okay, this personalized service is based on basically first the patient set different goals, and then there's a training program to achieve these goals. Okay, basically you have access to literacy. You have a digital health coach, and you can even connect to a specialist to treat your insomnia. This is a digital therapeutics because the algorithm itself propose you a particular plan to improve your condition. Okay. Then let me do a brief introduction about how DTx fits within this general trend, which is finding the sustainability of the healthcare systems or ecosystems. Here we have three main drivers of the sustainability of the healthcare system. The first one is that we need to have a cost-effective healthcare system. So basically, we need to reduce the cost per patient while maintaining the quality of the service. Then we should go for a value-based healthcare system. So reimbursing treatments based on the value they provide to society, to patients. And then obviously we need to increase to the maximum extent possible the efficacy of treatments. So we need to personalize the treatments to a particular specificities of the patient to increase the efficacy of the treatment. And basically DTx fits very well within all these three pillars. Okay, this is why it's so trendy now and starts being regulated in different countries. And obviously there are other driving factors of the trends that are benefiting that are fostering the DTx across countries, which is basically the growing population, the growing technology users. So from time to time, we're getting more used to technology, and also within the Healthcare Act, obviously our population is increasing, and then there's been massive investments on DTx, especially in the US. With this, the market size of DTx is forecasted to be around 30 billion in 2025, which is almost triple compared with 2020. And why is that? Because different countries are starting to put regulation in place to have access to reimbursement for this treatment. So the healthcare providers can be reimbursed for DTx. So obviously they are investing more and more on this kind of treatments. The first movement is done by Germany in December 2018. Basically, they launched the DIGA framework, which is actually an acronym for digital health applications in German. And under this framework, the Federal Institute for Drugs and Medical Devices states that a medical device class 1 or 2A, so depending if we are talking about MDR or MDD, is suitable to be considered and reimbursed as a digital therapeutics under the public insurance systems of Germany. Okay, so these kind of devices can be reimbursed. This is the statement. Then currently France has a quite complex pathway to access reimbursement of DTx. Actually, you need to be considered as a medical device. So you need to prove a lot of clinical evidence for being considered a DTx. But things will change soon, and we'll talk about this in a minute. In the UK, it is not a national framework that is reimbursing DTx through the NHS, such as in Germany, but they are reimbursing particular solutions through the integrated care systems in the regions. Okay, and all these apps are integrated within a common framework of the NHS app library, and also the NICE is providing support guidance for all these app manufacturers that want to be prescribed after DTx. So this is really important. It's like a notified body which is providing guidance and also a middle layer to be integrated with hospitals. And in 21, basically the MHRA just published an official document which is clearly states the steps that UK will take in the coming years to have a complete regulatory framework at national level for software as a medical device and AI as a medical device, which is basically other words for DTx. But as I told you, in France now it's quite complex to access to be regulated as a DTx. But things will change soon because Macron just announced that we'll copy paste the DIGA framework from Germany. Actually, he states as a good friend that he will improve the DIGA framework. And for this, they will allocate around 650 million. And in UK, as you can see, DTx are starting to reach the mass population. Here you have the cover of the Times, just saying that doctors will give a sleep app rather than a pill. Okay, so basically this is referring to Sleepio, the app that I just talked about. Really important let's focus on the German framework. It's just for you to understand what needs to take to be considered as DTx. You should provide or clearly state a medical benefit. Okay, basically improvement of health, reduction of the disease duration, prolongation of survival, improvement of quality of life, or you can also show improvement on several healthcare processes or structures, but always centered on the patient. Okay, monitoring, integration between patients and healthcare providers, or increase somehow or improve the health behavior of patients. And it's really important to note that to be considered DTx, the process is quite similar as a standard drug. Okay. You should specify the patient group or the indication you are targeting. You cannot be completely generic. And you should also specify a particular care effect, okay, as it was a drug. For instance, what is not a DIGA? So, for instance, an app that connects only HCPs with patients with a general purpose of let's say, reducing the anxiety with patients with mental stress. So this is too generic. A DIGA application should be the ones you have now on your right, and you can read it here directly. So, for instance, an app that provides digital designed healthcare model for patients with mild depressive episodes that gives information about the disease, blah 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 blah. So it should be really specific and provide a particular health outcome or care effect. Okay. And how you can be certified as a DTx in Germany. When we talk about digital solutions, we always talk about lean startup frameworks and agile frameworks. Okay, so in other industries, in other sectors, when you launch a digital solution, you build something fast, you launch it to the market, you test it, it crashes, but you iterate it, and then you launch it again. Okay. When we talk about health applications, obviously you cannot apply the same framework, but German government tried to somehow adapt this framework to the healthcare sector to be as agile as possible to cope with the innovation velocity of the digital innovations. And so this is the fast track. launching these digital tools. First, the first thing you need to do is to check that you accomplish with this DTx principle we just talked about. Okay, you are a medical device, that you are providing an intervention on patient, etc. Once this is clear for you, then you submit all this information to the German Medicines Agency. Okay, they check that you are compliant in terms of data security, data interoperability, sorry, data compliance, etc., and also that your solution provides a positive care effects, the ones we just talked a few minutes ago. If the question to everything is yes, and you have enough scientific evidence, you are permanently listed on the DIGA, and prior to that, you negotiate the price with GKV in Germany. Okay, if the German Medical Agency states that your DTx clearly is positive for your ethics, but you don't have all the evidence needed, you are primarily listed. So you enter in a provisional listing for the DIGA, and you have 12 to 24 months to generate the real world data, so the clinical evidence is needed to be considered as a in the permanent list, so to be reimbursed by the healthcare system. While you are in this provisional listing, it's interesting to know that the app manufacturer can set their own prices without negotiation. You are free to set your own price and to generate this clinical evidence. And then once you are listed permanently, the negotiation price takes place. Okay, this is the fast track. Just to provide some numbers, as for May 2022, it was about 130 applications that generated 50K DIGA prescriptions. Okay, from these 130 applications, 72 withdrawn. So the own app manufacturers say, okay, I'm in the process of generating evidences, but I'm envisioning that I will not be able to generate enough evidences, so I quit of the process. 11 was denied after this fast track, and 2 were removed from the directory after being permanently listed. Okay, 31 was added permanently, and 14 are under review. The average price for 19 days are about 4,000 euros, and the price negotiation after the permanent listing reduces the price around 30%. Okay, so it's quite a lot. And we have a dilemma now. The first one is the trust of doctors. So doctors know that some applications are in the trial period, so they don't have enough evidences from the clinical point of view. So why I should prescribe them? Okay, and at the same time, this generates a dilemma, because if the doctors doesn't prescribe me because I don't have enough evidence, but at the same time, I need to generate real world data to be permanently listed. So how I can do that? What's first, the egg or the chicken, right? And then the pricing strategy, the fact that you can set your own prices for the first or 2 years, it's quite controversial from the HCP's point of view. And then they raise a fact about the awareness. Most of the prescriptions are written by specialists on the Berlin area, which actually are the headquarters of most DTx companies. So it's clear that prescription is mainly done by doctors that are in touch with DTx companies, so which actually know the potential benefits of the DTx. So they need to launch an awareness campaign, a massive awareness campaign to scale the services to the whole country. And here you have the main diseases listed on DIGA. There is a lot of applications on mental health. Here you have, for instance, anxiety disorders. You have, for instance, depression, even smoking, or substance abuse disorders. Always like smoking or alcohol use, but also chronic conditions such as diabetes, multiple sclerosis, chronic pain, musculoskeletal overage, etc. Okay, but which are the main benefits? Because obviously there is a lot of stakeholders here. One particular stakeholders are the startups, the app developers of these devices, of these applications. Then we have also other clear stakeholders, which are the pharmaceutical industry, the medtech industry, but the main benefits of DTx should go for healthcare practitioners, for doctors, nurses, etc., for patients, and for the healthcare system itself. So the patients, they can clearly improve the access to treatment and also to increase their empowerment and allow them to self-manage their conditions, but from a clinically validated therapy, digital therapy. Okay, which is important. This was important. HCPs obviously can have a better tracking on the condition of their patients, and also they can improve a lot the processes of getting in touch with patient, to appoint meetings, and in this meeting they can see at a glance which is the evolution of the patient, because they have access to aggregated data on the patient pathology. And for the healthcare system, so they can reduce the cost per patient, or at least maintain the cost of patient, while they increase the quality of the service, mainly due to the generation of this huge amount of patient-related data, of what we call real-world data, real-world evidence that can improve the treatment of the condition. And let's review now some examples. The first one I would like to highlight is this one from Pete Genius, which is a DTx for substance abuse disorder, to treat substance abuse disorder, for instance, tobacco usage or alcohol or opioid. And the most interesting thing is that they go for a value-based, a really hardcore value-based model. Actually, they put 100% of the fee at risk. So if the therapy is working, they charge you a fee. If not, they don't. Okay. And they made several clinical trials. The most interesting one is a two-arm, single-blinded, parallel group randomized controlled trial with more than 500 patients, and they demonstrated that 44% of the patients cessate tobacco usage after 52 weeks of transcription with Genius, which is quite a lot compared with the traditional methods, which get roughly 36%. So it's proof that it's working, and the most relevant proof that it's working is this 100% fee model. So 100% risk fee model, right? Then we can talk now about Kaya Health, which is basically a self-management program for MSK based on multimodal rehabilitation. In this case, they perform several studies and questionnaires through digital channels to direct to the patient, and they perform individualized action plans to keep chronic pain under control. They give you access to specific workouts and personalized workouts, and they give you theory about how to manage the condition. They give you access to digital health coaches that they support you once you have, for instance, an acute episode of pain, and also they have clinical validated the solution in different contexts. Then we can talk about mental health now. And this solution, Avatar Therapy, is really interesting. Basically, they built a platform where the patient can simulate an avatar of a virtual avatar of their hallucinations. So it's patients that are having auditory hallucinations, so they can put a face on these auditory hallucinations and interact with these voices on real time. And they take all this process with the supervision of a healthcare patient online. And it's proven that a patient mostly suffering from schizophrenia that can interact with these voices, that can put a face on these voices, have a much better evolution than patients that follow, let's say, a standard psychotherapeutic therapies. Then we can talk also about CureUp. In this case, is targeting patients with hypertension. It's a platform which is digitally connected through home blood pressure monitoring, among other devices, which can sense, for instance, your daily activity and your quality of sleep. and they correlate the evolution of blood pressure with your daily habits, and they propose you certain interventions, for instance, changing your diet or having more exercise, or connecting with a psychologist to keep your stress under control, for instance, to reduce this blood pressure along the time. And the most interesting thing is that all this data is shown at a glance and aggregated and can be reviewed by a doctor, which can personalize the plan. It's proven that has a better efficacy than the standalone treatments without using digital tools. Then we have Propeller Health, which is a DTx for treating asthma and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, so COPD. This basically it's a providence respiratory, and it's an inhaler sensor connected to an app, and this app can track the dosage of drug you are taking every time you're using the inhaler, and it correlates this dosage of drug with the symptoms you are reporting to an app, and correlating this this drug intake with your symptomatology and other lifestyle factors. They can propose you personalized programs to increase or to reduce the pathologies attached to your condition, and also it can even be used to adapt the dosage of treatment of drug, and it can adapt this dosage of your treatment and as a standalone device. So there is no need for medical intervention of that, which is a huge breakthrough for that. Then I would like to talk also, we are ending up the presentation. We have 3 slides missing. Kaiku Health is a DTx for cancer treatment. And this can be shocking, because how a digital tool can be used to treat cancer. It's not about treating cancer. It's about providing a digital tool around cancer care, and for following up non-emergency communications between the different visits during the treatment of the patient. And it's demonstrated that the patient is having a lot of anxiety between these patients, because they felt that they are left alone in front of this severe pathology and potentially deadly. So they are providing direct connection with a specialist. They are permanently gathering data coming from questionnaires made directly on the patient, which this patient reports different symptoms that can, for instance, secondary effects of the treatment. And also they are integrated with different wearable devices where you can track, for instance, the activity of an eventual patient. You can track the quality of sleep. You can track if they are moving around the home or not. And using all this data and the manually reported data by the patient can trigger alert to the care team regarding an abnormal situation on the patient treatment. Then another chronic condition which is quite trendy on the DTx wall is diabetes, type 1 and 2. In this case, it's more or less the same. Is an application which gathers all the information about the patient, lifestyle habits, but also the level of insulin which is the patient is taking, to propose real-time actions to keep your insulin level at the lowest. To keep the blood glucose level at the lower levels to extent as possible. And then the last one, Akili, in this case is a treatment for ADHD, and it's really interesting because in this case Akili developed a game for patients, and it provides sensory stimuli and stimulus which are adapted to motor changes in real time. So if you are a patient suffering from these conditions, from ADHD, you can interact with this game, and the game adapts to your particular condition and to your evolution. And it's proven with 5 clinical trials with 100 children, which is quite a lot, that the patients improve a lot by playing this game. And this is quite exciting, because the only treatment for ADHD now it's pills, right? So it's quite exciting. And I have only 30 minutes, so I guess I'm on time. Thanks a lot. And if you have any questions at the end of the session, I will be really pleased to discuss it with you.
Thank you very much, Xavi, for your great speech. Thank you very much for your great speech. And so now it's time for the other speaker, which is Alain Frey. Alain, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Just a sec. I'm all yours.
Okay.
Hello,
Alain
everyone.
is a business consultant of Ulword, and now it's your time. So please, if you want to share your slides, we are very pleased to hear you.
Okay, just a second. Preview. Can you see my presentation?
Perfectly.
Ok, perfect. Ok, parlo brevemente in italiano e poi dopo cambio in inglese. Mi chiamo Alain Frey, ho vissuto a Roma e sono business consultant alla Ullo, e quindi oggi Franco mi ha invitato alla vostra riunione, sono molto contento di essere presente con voi. Let's switch to English. So the title of my presentation is actually Strengthening a Therapeutic Relationship through Digital Technology and Neuroscience, a novel approach of digital therapeutics. So it is completely different from what Xavi has just presented. You will see it's a mix of digital therapeutics and traditional therapeutics. So let's say explain a little bit what we are as a company. We try to kind of instill a new vision of care using technology, but the relationship, the human aspect of it is at the heart of the therapeutic action. So basically, our approach is, innovation. I mean, we are making high-tech tools accessible. Science, I mean, the company was, the main product was the result of a PhD in BCI, in brain-computer interface. So we are pretty much focused in, on science. We provide also the support, very important also to monitor analyzing the progress of therapeutic activities. We are obviously working in partnership with different organizations, and we include the idea is to be as inclusive as possible for people who have mental disorders, or let's say how would you say, cognitive disorders that can go from autism to TDAH, hyperactivity, and so on and so forth, and Alzheimer's disease as well. So basically, our customers are health companies, obviously health that can be institutions, living care areas, education, schools for special needs, academies, associations and institutions. Again, this is to help people with cognitive disorders to deal better, to reduce their level of anxiety, that we created, the products I'm going to show you now. So the first product is a garden. So this is the new version, we call it the Zen Garden 4.0. And basically, this is what I'm saying is very different from what was introduced before, because this is a kind of a digital therapeutics in a way, but it's the product itself. Okay, so basically what we do with the garden is to create a multisensory stimulation, augmented reality, and an ambient feedback to help people to reduce the level of anxiety. Okay, and so this is very important that we work focusing on anxiety and how to reduce it in a very innovative and playful way. So basically what it is a sandbox, as you can tell, with kinetic sense, and the colors and sense of nature change according to the topography of the landscape. So as you play around, you can, build up like a landscape, and all the colors will change accordingly, according to the height, according to the depth, and for the depth meaning water, so blue ocean or dark blue seabed. And basically what it does is we add on the top of that some nature, sounds of nature, like birds, of waves, and so on. So it's a full immersion of the person into that work. And although it is digital, you can tell that it's very, the touch sense is used as well. So it's very different from what we would expect, let's say, from digital therapeutics, in a sense that is a combination of both, So, and this aspect of putting your hands and being creative in the landscape makes a big difference. So the benefits of it, so that is what I was mentioning a little bit earlier, the regulation of behavioral and mood disorders. So people are becoming a little bit more, calmer, and they don't have the up and down stages. It helps people to verbalize, while they have their hands in the sand, they can kind of interact with people, and they become calmer, are more receptive to listen as well. So it's like the interaction is getting better. This is obviously a cognitive stimulation. So cognitive stimulation in both ways, people coming down, or for instance, apathetic people being a little bit more active and being more interested in what is happening around them. So it creates also a mediation, or a relational mediation, and you integrate that into the beneficiaries support project. It's improving the quality of the care pathway. So to sum up in a way, the benefits or the whole scope of what we're doing is really to make the patient or the resident cognitively available. So the main problem that you may be aware of is that people are really kind of in a level of anxiety, and to make them, to calm them down and so on, a therapist needs to kind of, for 1 hour, they would like work 45 minutes and they have 15 minutes left to be kind of interact proactively and, with a patient. So we do the other way around. So people kind of relax 15 minutes after 15 minutes, and then there are 45 minutes fully available for any, therapy, basically. That is the whole concept. And of course, without any anxiolytics, which is crucial, this kind of a drug-free environment. So what does the Zen Garden do? Helping to soothe people. Again, people are going relaxing and becoming calmer. It helps, again, with verbalization. People tend to speak a little bit more and to interact. Also evokes memories of the participant, and who is talking about himself, about his past. And so we have a better understanding of him or her. Relational mediation, people are much calmer So it's particularly interesting, for instance, with children with ADHD, in a sense that, you know, they're really they have this aggressivity, and then suddenly they kind of, you know, calm down with by interacting with the tool, with the device. And so it's kind of actually impressive to see that literally, that how quick they calm down and how receptive they can be. Also, obviously, is improving the relationship between the patient and the healthcare team, and the patient and his or her family. So the cognitive stimulation, I mentioned it before. So the tool is actually a device, it can be used by anyone at the end of the day. So from childhood to elderly age, as psychological, mental or cognitive disorders. We've seen even people like, you know, who have no disorders at all. They were just by playing with the tool, with the device, they were just like, you know, talking about themselves. So it can really free the, you know, the word. And it can be very interesting in that sense too. The facilities, as I was mentioning before, living, care and support areas. So nursing homes, institutions, schools for children, universities. And so this is what we provide here. So just to briefly mention where it comes from, and that, you know, this is our scientific publications. Jeremy Frey, who is the CTO, keeps publishing with Israel and any other universities. We are very interactive with several, in partnership with several universities in Europe as well as in Israel. So the product, as you can tell, is quite big, you know. So it is really mobile, but it can be mobile within an institution. So it's not something you can carry along easily. And so what we were trying to do is to basically apply the same concept, but in a much let's say mobile, with a mobile device. So this is the same goal at the end of the day, that, you know, relaxing, reducing anxiety, but this time this is something that we can use easily at home or anywhere. So without actually any assistance. It can be both with assistance or not, but, you know, that is more use, you know, handy in that case. So we developed Flower. And so Flower, it's a serenity boosters. And this is inspired by the principle of cardiac coherence. And basically what we do is we provide like breathing exercises, and you know, it kind of help people to relax and stimulate them by, you know, fostering their attention and or concentration. So the tool can be used individually or in group, again, alone, or, you know, with someone, with a carer or with a therapist and so on. So it depends obviously on the level of a disorder that the person is, you know, suffers. So it is a stimulating tool. It fosters attention. It helps people to fall asleep. We use it as well as a tool with people who are, you know, have sleeping disorders. And again, the whole idea is relaxing. So oops, just a sec. The concept is actually, you will see, well, sorry, first of all, I'll just show how it is. So we have several modes that we can use. So relaxation, return to calm, Sandman, stimulation, custom mode. We can create our own, you know, mode, and glass hour. And so basically, it kind of soothing, you know, light atmosphere helps people to calm down. As I was mentioning before, we've got breathing guides. We've got a variety of exercises that have been developed by a psychologist. We have customizable programs. It's a drug-free approach, exactly like the garden before. There is an app, but the app is only in order to kind of, use the device, not to use the app for the exercise and so on. We use it as a time management and it has a Bluetooth connection. So very quickly, because that's not the purpose of the presentation, we're just showing, the different modes, let's say, of what people can do. And it's actually very simple. The petals are, the lights are in the petals. So it's a guide with the petals, and you just follow, what the petals are showing the lights. So breathing in, breathing out, or you can use as a glass hour. Each petal will be lightened, and so it's a very simple use. And so again, it helps with the concentration. The time management can be also interesting because you have a visual presentation of it, and you can integrate a timer. And then, for instance, in institutions, people who are waiting for somebody to come over or for the meal and so on, it can create anxiety. We can use that kind of to help people to manage their time and to deal better with anxiety. So again, for people, it's for everyone at the end of the day. We developed that first, obviously, in the context of kind of therapeutic context, so care areas, living areas, public premises, and that's it. So soothing, concrete use cases, we can use it as at the beginning of a session. Again, what I was saying is trying to get the person to get his or her attention or to calm down. That's a crucial aspect of any therapy. So this kind of, cognitive availability is crucial for people, for carers, as well as, therapists. So do the breathing exercise together. We can do it, with a person to kind of create, facilitate the synchronization. It can be done at the end of the session, at the beginning of a workshop, group as well. And it creates a kind of a cohesion. Time management, that is what I was mentioning earlier on. It's very important for the person, for example, when they know they're waiting for something to happen. Ambulance is a little bit different, but a meal, for people who have, for AD, Alzheimer's disease, for instance, they're very impatient and so on, and the consultation time as well. And so that's very nice because you can show them and they can see literally on the, the petals where, how long they need to wait. And it's in a very soothing environment. So it kind of help them to literally manage their time and expectations in a way, knowing that things are going to happen once, the petals are all up, let's say. So care time, the uses, we can use it, during care time as well, especially during painful and discomforting care, again, to kind of diverting the attention. Rest time at bedtime, that is important when people need to, kind of relax, and it helps them to fall asleep. When people are excited or, anxious, it can help them to return to calm. Concentration, again, between two different demanding tasks, it can help them to remain focused and to be more cognitive available, and during concentration time as well. So again, the whole idea is making them available and ensuring that we can reach that point. I mean, they're taking in a way ownership of what they're doing, through the interaction with the device or with Garden. We literally make them kind of, becoming their own, therapist, carer in a way, like managing better their own breathing, even if it's in the, how would you say, you know, kind of a certain context. You know, it's like accompanying them in that. It's a kind of supported meditation tool in a way. And again, the whole idea is like that it stucks in their mind in a way, in one way or the others, and they can even, you know, thinking about the garden or the flower, it will help them to kind of calm down. So the thing I wanted to mention again, as you can see, it's pretty much different from what Shabi showed us earlier on. And in our particular case, for instance, with Diga, our goal with, or in France, is to make this tool like an MD. You know, once we, especially the flower, for a garden, that might be, that's something we may consider in the future. But in a close future, let's say in a near future, in Diga, for instance, we are in touch with an insurance group, and that was present when I met Franco. And the whole idea would be to have the device as an MD. And then once it's qualified as a medical device, then we use it in, either in France or everywhere actually, and then it would be reimbursed by the social security system of the country. So this is what we try to do not only in Germany, we have something going on as well in England. We try to see how it works. And finally, the garden is a very interesting product, and unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, not really well understood. So, but when we see it in action, let's say in institutions, for example, with the autistic children, we immediately see the effect. And so it's very difficult to talk about it if you're not seeing it. And all the people who have, either they have themselves, they have these cognitive disorders, or they have relatives, sons, daughters, or brothers and sisters, or parents, they really understand the value of it and how impactful it can be. So again, that is something a little bit different. It's a kind of, we have one foot in technology, in the digital therapeutics, but the other foot is a kind of more traditional, especially in the interaction with people. And so that's maybe the difficulty here for us to make understand the benefits of our products, our concept, let's say. It takes a little bit of time, and we notice that there is some resistance in the traditional way of thinking, whether it is in France or any other countries. Obviously, as Shabi mentioned and Franco earlier on, countries we are already dealing with digital therapeutics, are a little bit more receptive to the idea, and there is definitely more interest. And that's it for me. The same as Shabi, I would be happy to take some of your questions later on during that discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hélène. Also, thank you very much for your great speech. Adesso passo all'italiano e apriamo alle domande. Come abbiamo visto in queste due presentazioni che ci hanno fatto i nostri due speaker, è stata fatta un overview sulle Digital Therapeutics, quindi se qualcuno degli ospiti, degli spettatori ha delle domande, noi siamo qui pronti. Potete anche scriverle in chat se non volete comparire o non volete far sentire la vostra voce.
Mi senti, Giovanni?
Ti sentiamo, Franco, sì. E ti vediamo anche.
Allora, mi vedete con uno sfondo perché non so cosa è venuto fuori.
Sei nello spazio.
Sembro un avatar di me stesso. Io avevo già conosciuto i nostri relatori, avevo approfondito qualche cosa. Abbiamo un ospite importante che si prepara così a una domanda che io non posso non farle. Beatrice, grazie di essere con noi. Tu coordini i sistemi informativi regionali. Conoscevi queste robe? Che cosa ti è venuto in mente ascoltando questi nostri amici e sapendo cosa succede in altri paesi?
Allora, innanzitutto grazie, mi cogli sempre impreparata.
Ma figurati, scusa, presentati un attimo, perché c'erano un po' di personaggi, voglio dire, peones, mentre tu atterri da una posizione...
No, non esagerare.
La dottoressa Beatrice Del Frate, nell'ambito dell'assessorato e delle funzioni della sanità, prego, presentati.
Sì, io mi occupo dei sistemi informativi sanitari delle aziende sanitarie, quindi la realtà del Friuli Venezia Giulia è un po' particolare perché c'è una centralità delle scelte per quanto riguarda i sistemi informatici che poi vengono usati nelle aziende sanitarie. E quindi insieme a loro, ai vari referenti, alle varie tematiche, condividiamo i processi necessari da informatizzare e poi seguiamo una linea unica per tutte le aziende. Il 90% diciamo, dei sistemi che usano le aziende sanitarie in Friuli Venezia Giulia sono tutti uguali, sono tutti simili, integrati tra di loro. Adesso siamo in una fase anche di revisione perché alcuni sistemi sono obsoleti, voi sapete che col PNRR si cerca sempre di sfruttare l'occasione delle disponibilità che ci sono per sostituirli, migliorarli e andare verso una medicina di prossimità come parlano adesso, no? E quindi con dentro anche la telemedicina. Io purtroppo mi sono collegata un po' in ritardo, quindi ho visto l'ultima presentazione che devo dire la verità molto accattivante. Ecco, la prima purtroppo non ce l'abbia il relatore precedente, ma non sono
È registrata, puoi essere
perfetto,
ripetente con
bene.
tranquillità, ti mandiamo
Quindi
il link.
sicuramente sono strumenti che sono molto all'avanguardia e noi come realtà del Friuli Venezia Giulia per alcuni versi potremmo anche poter pensare di sperimentare proprio in piccole nicchie perché c'è ancora una forte non conoscenza degli strumenti e della digitalizzazione. Io tante volte dico ignoranza, ma nel senso proprio di non conoscenza. Per cui quando si vedono queste presentazioni si sogna e poi quando si entra, si pensa alla realtà, cioè si rimane un po' delusi, no, dal fatto di non poterlo utilizzare, però questo è il futuro. Io spero che con questi finanziamenti, con questa voglia da parte dell'Italia di elevare tutte le regioni a un livello minimo di digitalizzazione, poi consentendo anche a quelle che sono un po' più avanti, insomma, di utilizzare i fondi anche per fare cose più innovative, successivamente a questo ci possa essere poi la mentalità di usare tecnologie come quelle che ho visto, quel fiore molto simpatico ma anche molto utile dal punto di vista dell'utilizzo. La telemedicina probabilmente ci porterà anche a integrare dei sistemi di quel genere lì o comunque sistemi un po' meno innovativi ma sistemi nuovi, device, dispositivi che rilevano velocemente certi parametri. Quindi la strada è segnata. C'è tanto lavoro e spero insomma di arrivare in un immediato futuro anche a usare tecnologie di questo genere.
Era registrato tutto quanto hai detto, l'ho detto prima, quindi me lo porto a casa.
Non mi pare
Sai che sono pestifero.
nulla di... la volontà c'è, dopodiché conosciamo benissimo i percorsi che dobbiamo affrontare. Ecco, perché non possiamo non
interessante però.
Nuove tecnologie non devono essere, come dicono adesso, calate a terra, anzi assolutamente, però c'è un percorso che dobbiamo fare prima.
Ma tu sei una custode della certificazione dei prodotti e servizi, lo dici sempre ed è importantissimo, se no non avremmo su 3 aziende sanitarie e gli stessi sistemi, perché accanto al sorriso ci vuole della rigidità impositiva che da un po' di anni eserciti. Ecco, questo vedo che ti accetti questo tipo di definizione del tuo lavoro e della tua persona. Noi abbiamo voglia di fare delle sperimentazioni. Io l'ho chiesto sia a Alain sia ai nostri amici di Opinno, perché poi diventano alcune cose wow. E quando ne ho parlato a Cinzia Raffin della Fondazione Bambino Autistico, che sai è a Pordenone una cosa importante per il territorio ed altro, lei mi ha detto che molto volentieri voleva approfittarne. Non so se posso provocare e se è presente qualcuno della Fondazione Bambino Autistico. Bambini autistici. C'è qualcuno, perché
Siamo
la
qua.
dottoressa
Allora,
Eccoti.
Raffin, buongiorno, io sono la
Ciao, dici qualcosa.
E qua c'è la dottoressa Ambrogiani. La dottoressa Raffin oggi non ha potuto esserci, ma abbiamo partecipato noi molto volentieri a questa formazione, a questa presentazione sicuramente di nuovi modi per interfacciarsi con la disabilità e i disturbi, le difficoltà mediche delle persone che appunto accedono ai nostri servizi.
E sei un terreno di sperimentazione?
Com'è?
Diventerai un terreno di sperimentazione?
Allora, non parlo per la dottoressa Raffin, ma direi di sì. Nel senso che sicuramente cogliamo l'occasione, insomma, per informarci meglio. Abbiamo tirato giù tutti i siti, ovviamente sì, la presentazione era proprio, come dire, ha toccato velocemente alcuni punti che vorremmo appunto approfondire, nel senso che ci sono sicuramente tante domande che vorremmo fare. Adesso magari i tempi sono un po' stretti perché ci stiamo in questo momento anche noi occupando proprio di neuro, di biofeedback, e ci stiamo occupando sicuramente di migliorare la qualità della vita anche da un punto di vista sanitario dei nostri utenti. Quindi
grazie della presenza e grazie della promessa a sviluppare qualcosa. Rilancio la palla, io mi sono più che soddisfatto, rilancio la palla a Giovanni, neuroscienziato, a te, e poi forse siamo vicini alla chiusura.
Sì,
Prego.
volevo sapere se tanto c'erano altre domande dai presenti, se qualcuno aveva qualcosa, magari facciamo prima loro, prendiamo un attimo. E intanto io chiedo a entrambi, le terapie digitali sono il presente e il futuro, perché sono una realtà in molti paesi, non lo sono ancora in Italia, speriamo che lo siano presto, e volevo sapere loro quale pensano che sia il futuro delle terapie digitali. I will try to translate it in English. So
I got it.
You got
For
it.
me,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to start, or please.
Yeah. The future of the DTx for me are the complete integration with the healthcare systems. So what is happening now is that there is a massive atomization of the sector. So there is a lot of different initiatives. For instance, we was talking a couple of minutes ago about autism. Akili Health, the application just presented you, is providing a solution for child with autism. Romano Health is providing another solution for autism. So there is a lot of different applications for a lot of different, let's say, diseases or therapeutic areas. For me, the future will be a future where it will be only few main players in these therapeutic areas, and these players will be integrated with different healthcare systems. So, and this will happen across the region. So maybe we'll have one particular solution for autism in one region of Italy, but it will be the same for everyone. Then we'll have one particular solution for one region in Spain, but it will be integrated with the healthcare system. So this is how the future looks like for me. But the problem is that we have a massive problem with interoperability, even within the same country. So for instance, in Spain, you know that we are divided by comunidades autónomas or regions. Even within these regions, within Catalonia, you have different data formats across the different hospitals. So this is the major problem we are facing now. But in the future, we would expect a lot of players, but with massive presence in particular regions and integrated with the healthcare systems.
Thank you very much. Alain?
Well, for me, the angle is slightly different from the one of Xabi. But what I can tell and what I've seen as well, generally speaking, being part of this project that Franco attended, actually, Ithaca project, like, you know, best practices within European regions exchange. There is people are aware now that, you know, that digital therapeutics are the present and the future, and the wake-up call was obviously the pandemics. So everything has been put, you know, change. I mean, everyone, whether we are in Italy or Spain or France, we needed to change our approach, and we are much more open to these new ways of interacting or, you know, providing therapeutic services. Having said that, what I've noticed on the top of maybe what Xabi was saying, which obviously was not my experience practically, is the fact that there is still some resistance to it. It's a very slow process to convince people to change their habits and to make understand everyone how beneficial it is for them. So there is a mentality shift that is necessary, I would say, in order to kind of, you know, get a little bit faster. There is a kind of, oh, this is digital, or this is technology, this is not for me. And so it makes things a little bit difficult on the top of this kind of problem with, you know, internal, you know, operability, whether it is in Italy, France, and so on. And that's a major issue, this kind of fear of technology. But at the end of the day, when people think on when hospitals see how cost effective it can be, I think at the end of the day, they will come to, you know, an institution that would say, okay, you know, that is worth actually doing it. So.
Yes, to your point, I completely agree with you, Alan. I just shared the vision in the future, but if we should tackle the barriers to achieve this vision, obviously awareness and literacy is a major one. So not only among practitioners, among doctors, but also about patients. Actually, I don't know if you're aware of this, but now in the UK, ORCHA, which is like a reference in the sector, just launched a huge national plan to educate both HCPs and patients. But still, you have to do that. That's okay. But if you don't achieve the complete integration within the healthcare system, then you have a problem. For instance, in UK, there's an experience with the NHS. They tried to integrate systems like 10 years ago, and they resigned after spending billions of not dollars, but pounds. So I'm curious to see how we'll tackle this, because I mean there is a lot of frameworks, a lot of protocols, FHIR now, but I don't know. I don't have the answer. So I would know how to educate people, but not how to integrate the whole thing. Maybe Beatrice has a particular view on that, but for me it's hard to envisage at the long term.
Yeah, just to add it, I'm sorry, cambio di lingua, non mi sono accorto che parlavo in inglese, scusate, quindi posso completare in inglese quello che ho appena detto. Quello che dobbiamo capire comunque è che questa preoccupazione non è solo nazionale, e ovviamente è internazionale, europea, e per quello che ho capito in questo momento a livello europeo ci sono delle discussioni per come dire, avere dei progetti paneuropei, diciamo interregionali o altri, su questo aspetto, o per esempio con una tematica come la regolazione dell'ansia per i giovani, soprattutto per preparare le prossime, cioè i giovani, soprattutto mentalmente, alle prossime pandemie. E quindi ci sarà un movimento, c'è già un movimento, diciamo, internazionale per vedere cosa possiamo fare per aiutare questi bambini o per anticipare, diciamo, quello che potrebbe succedere di nuovo, ma stavolta essendo molto più preparato. Quindi questo va molto in modo positivo, diciamo, nella direzione di, come dire, far cambiare le mentalità e far capire che comunque il mondo sta cambiando, che dobbiamo fare qualcosa per poter letteralmente aiutare le persone in bisogno e evitare quello che è successo l'ultima volta, cioè nel senso che ci sono stati dei problemi enormi a livello come dire, di assistenza psicologica e altre a livello nazionale, internazionale, siamo stati tutti presi dall'urgenza e quindi adesso possiamo stabilire provare almeno a stabilire come dire, una strategia per affrontare questo tipo di situazione. Quindi questa cosa di necessità può aiutare a far cambiare le mentalità che comunque hanno cambiato con il Covid, questo non c'è dubbio. Le persone tradizionali hanno cambiato le cose, hanno cambiato il loro modo di fare perché non c'erano altri modi. Quindi questo sarebbe la cosa positiva, direi.
Alain, quando noi ci siamo incontrati non molto tempo fa, io ho detto, senti, faremo un webinar, cosa che abbiamo fatto, tanto per stare in contatto e stimolare un territorio, cosa che abbiamo fatto, ma colgo l'occasione di dire a te e a Xavier, che ho conosciuto oggi, che l'8 settembre avremo un incontro qui in Friuli Venezia Giulia e precisamente a Udine con il cluster nazionale Tecnologie per gli ambienti di vita e forse stiamo preparando qualche cosa che potrebbe convincervi ad arrivare fino in Friuli Venezia Giulia a raccontare le vostre cose. Io ti avevo promesso, Alain, di fare un giro in barca e andare al mare, ma vedremo di coordinare tutte queste cose. Ma se il Giovanni deve concludere, io dico rimaniamo in contatto. Coloro che hanno avuto degli stimoli dalla parte dell'uditorio ci facciano domande e quesiti, perché una cosa che ha detto la dottoressa Beatrice Del Frate, cioè che bisogna spingere queste nuove tecnologie perché chi non le conosce ne ha paura. E questo è un'osservazione molto semplice ma molto, molto chiara. E come si fa a togliere la paura delle cose che non si conoscono? Semplicissimo, facendole conoscere, facendole diffondere e poi la paura non c'è più. Uno aveva paura di Google Maps, dopo ha cominciato ad operarla e arriva in orario. Uno aveva paura del meteo digitale e adesso sa quando prendere l'ombrello oppure andare in costume da bagno. Giovanni, a te, chiusura o conclusione, ringraziamo tutti i partecipanti, diffondiamo il video e siamo a posto. Giovanni, tua.
Vabbè, grazie Franco. Allora io ringrazio i nostri due speaker, Javier e Alain, per i loro interventi. Ringrazio la dottoressa Del Frate anche per il suo intervento, ovviamente per aver partecipato, e tutte le persone che si sono collegate. È stato un evento molto, molto interessante. Abbiamo visto che le terapie digitali sono una realtà e ci auguriamo che lo siano sempre di più anche qui in Italia. Quindi grazie a tutti e a presto. Vi aspettiamo ai nostri prossimi eventi del Cluster Scienze della Vita. Grazie a tutti.
Grazie.
Arrivederci.
Ciao.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
Grazie a voi.
Grazie.
Ciao, arrivederci.
Grazie.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye. Ciao.
Grazie.